So, we are going to be talking about Leticia Collins. And I have to say that I wanted to keep on my series using the same vocal since I do pre recorded videos, the same scenery that I do with my little beach scene. But um, it's very early in the morning. And when I say early, I mean very early. I just could not sleep. My allergies are going 1,000 miles a minute, as you can probably tell. And it is storming. So I have one of my dogs that hates the storms. And you might even hear the thunder in the background. So I came to a different room so you don't hear my dogs. And so you're going to be looking at my Himalayan lamp. So you just got to sometimes go with what you can go with. So, and I did want to go ahead and put out another video when I can on Leticia while it's still fresh in my mind, because I am going to be very, very busy with some personal things going on. So what I wanted to cover was her therapist that she is seeing. Now, I'm not sure exactly, what his credentials are. She talks about him a lot, Dr. Carol. From what I'm gathering, she has seen this therapist for years, and then she stopped seeing him for a while, and she's seeing him again. And she recorded the video, or she recorded their session that they had on the phone. Now, she did let him know that she was recording it, and she was putting it on her video, that a lot of people were going to be watching it, and he seemed okay with that. And there were just a lot of things that I found interesting about this. Now, later on, some other videos that I have been able to watch, it's pretty clear that her mother has told her, I don't think this doctor has helped you, that he's helping you because your behaviors haven't changed. But in Leticia's mind, this doctor is helping her because she is able to, in her words, sustain herself. She is doing better over the years. I don't know how long she's been seeing this doctor. She says it's been, a few years. And then she did state she quit seeing him for a while, and then she picked up seeing him again. In my opinion, living in your vehicle, being homeless, that is not bettering yourself. So, I don't know how. I mean, maybe in her mind, she thinks that she is doing better. Getting arrested several times because you're violating a no contact or protective order over at least 8 times I know of with her ex-husband, and becoming unhinged, that's not bettering yourself. So for some reason in her mind, though, she believes that, this doctor is helping her. Now, I found a lot of things odd. Well, I can't say doctor, therapist. Like I said, I don't know what his credentials are. You could tell that he is an older gentleman. And I have to say, I think she calls him a psychologist as well. Don't quote me on that. Now, if you find somebody out there when you are having issues that you feel comfortable opening up to, that is awesome. because sometimes it's hard to find somebody that you feel comfortable opening up to. But this is just my opinion. This man, this therapist, thinks a lot. He's his train of thought or his mindset is the same way that Leticia thinks. In this session that I was listening to, he goes off and talks about a lot of different things that has nothing to do with what is going on in her life. And I get it, therapist and caseworkers or whatever, they'll go off and talk about some other things happening in real life, that has nothing to do with their client. They're trying to build a rapport. But this man, in my opinion, through this session, this phone conversation, he spends more time talking about religion and about what is going on out in the real world in different countries. And, he spends more time talking about other things instead of the root of the problem, what is going on with Leticia. That seems very odd to me. It seems very odd. Most therapists, they want to, like I said, they might build up that rapport and, they'll talk about other things to, like I said, make their patient, their client feel comfortable with them. But they want to know what's going on with their client. How are you doing? What can I do to help you? Or give them guidance. This is what you need to do when you are feeling triggered. Or try doing this when you are feeling some sort of way. But I'm not hearing this out of this therapist. He's like, way out there, talking about, like I said, a lot about religion, and that's fine. There's a lot of therapists out there that, they are very religious, and you can seek therapists that are religious, and that's who you choose to go with. But he keeps asking her, questions about, well, what did I believe Job? What did Job do, or what did God do with this or that? And then again, like I said, he's talking about what's happening in different countries and what's happening with this and that has nothing to do with Leticia. That's one big thing that I noticed. He did not really address her and her issues and what's going on with her or what she can do to better herself, or maybe to help her to ease some of her triggers, or maybe give her guidance, or maybe tell her you should not be doing some of the things that you're doing, right? In my opinion, enabling her. I don't know if he's seeing any of her videos, if he's watching any of her videos. I'm guessing not, okay? Because if he was, he would be saying, some of the things you're doing, not okay. But she, when she's talking to the therapist, her demeanor is totally different. I don't know if this is a very good actress, because after she's getting done with this phone call, like I said, her demeanor is so different on this phone call. And when he is saying different things that she has put out there, right? Like conspiracy theories on the government, it seems to me like he believes the same thing. The government's out to get everybody. That's my opinion. That's what I took from what he's talking about. She's shaking her head with agreement, and she's showing her phone that, yes, he's saying it too. And, look, his name, Dr. Carroll's right on there. And she's showing her phone like, see, a doctor's saying it. Or, yeah, he is a doctor because it's Dr. Carroll. Um, he's saying it. See, guys? I'm not the only one saying it. And trying to verify, since, this person is saying it to her, too, it's got to be true. It's got to be. One other person is agreeing with her in the whole world, so it's got to be fact. So he's talking about this protective order that she is getting in trouble for, right? That she's got, I guess there is a warrant. I was watching some other videos when I've had time since this therapy session, and I'm going to do some other videos as I have the time, because I do have some personal things going on in my life. So I'm going to try to do it in segments. It seems like, yes, at least according to her, there is a warrant out for her again for her revoking, or they asked for a revoke of her bond because some of the things that she did, like I talked about in my last video, talking to the victim, Jason, okay, directly into the camera, putting out his information, like past work, his work, people are harassing him at work. She keeps addressing him over and over as being a rapist. I don't know if they told her, you're not allowed to talk about this until you go to court, until the case is done. I don't know what all the terms were. I do believe that she was released in her mother's care because of what she has said. She has made it clear that she will leave and then her mother will go to jail. She doesn't care that her mother bonded her out, and I think her father helped her out as well, money-wise, but her mother bonded her out. She doesn't seem to really care. She's like, I'll just leave and you can go to jail, and she has to stay at her mother's. I think that's one of the terms of her being out on bond, is she's, in her mother's care. She's got to have that address at her mother's. But they're asking for her release to be revoked because of what she is doing on social media with the quote victim. Well, I don't even want to say quote. He is the victim here. According to the paperwork, according to the courts, he is the victim, and she put out a false rape report on him. So this therapist is telling her, you didn't do anything wrong. Now, I don't know if he's seen any of the paperwork. I do have one dog, my shadow, that is trying to get in the room. I'm going to let him in. He's not the one that is scared of the thunder, so he's not going to yip yap, but he is an older dog. My other dog, she will start growling and start barking at the thunder. So I'm going to put this on pause because he's going to keep scratching to get in here. I thought that I, was doing the right thing by, going in a different room. Like I said, I wanted all my series to be one vocal point and, do it away from the dogs so you didn't hear them barking and stuff like that. Well, they kind of followed me because of the storm. So that didn't work out like I wanted it to. So you still might hear, actually 2 of them, I have 3. 2 of them followed me in here. So it is what it is. If you hear them in the background, I do apologize. I'm not going to restart the video and go to, the beach scene like I normally do. I'm just not going to do it. Like I said, it's very early in the morning. This is the chance I have to do the video. So I'm going to have to take the time that I have to be able to do the video. My time is really limited this weekend. So anyways, back to this therapist. I don't know if he has seen the paperwork or not. Something tells me he might not have. She might have explained it to him. But again, he probably has other clients as well. And he tells her, you didn't do anything wrong. You didn't go against anything. But yes, she did. She absolutely did. She's threatening her victim online. She literally is threatening somebody. I don't know if she told her therapist, well, yeah, I threatened him. And I threatened him, on social media for the world to hear. I am talking directly to him. That's indirect contact. I might not have went to his house. She probably told him all that, just like she's told all of us. I didn't go to his house. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. But she absolutely is talking directly to him. She is calling him, a rapist. And she's talking all this stuff, about him. And like I said, I have no clue if they told her or not that she is not allowed to do any of those other things. And I don't know if she told him that she found him on a site and she did a fake profile to be able to look him up. And then on social media, she went live and she was looking up where he worked at, his past work, and was showing all her audience where he worked at, and he's getting harassing phone calls. Okay? Have no idea. But then, what really got to me too is he is saying that Leticia is not out to harm her baby. He's like, you're not out to harm your baby. And then he goes on to talk about all the additives to foods and, how, places have been bombed and stuff like that has happened with women that are pregnant. And, nothing has happened to the baby because, when the baby's inside the womb, the baby is protected a lot. They're in that water sac, they can be protected. But he goes on and on to say that, about how a lot of women go through a lot of different things and the baby comes out fine. And, she's not out to hurt the baby. He's like, you're not out to hurt the baby. And she's like, no, I'm not. And she calls the baby very nice things to the therapist, her offspring, this and that. She's not telling her therapist it's a trash baby. It's the devil. It's a piece of shit. It's all the nasty, vile things that we've all heard, right? You don't hear her saying that to her therapist. You don't hear her saying that, I'm going to kill this baby. I'm going to hurt this baby. Later on, after this call, she talks about, again, not feeding the baby, that she's going to not go to the hospital to have this baby. She's going to have it wherever she's at, in a tub, because she's not going to go back to jail. And she's not going to breastfeed it. She's not going to give it any milk. But we've all heard all the videos on what she wanted to do to this baby. I don't know if her therapist is aware of the paperwork where it states that, she has hit her belly and what she has said about not giving it brain damage, pinching her belly. I don't know if her therapist knows that, she's been smoking pot all the way through. This woman, she can't live without her pot. She becomes unhinged if she does not. I mean, she'll do anything, literally anything. She's made that clear. We'll talk about that in the upcoming videos. For her pot, she has to have it. She will do absolutely anything to have her ganja. Okay? So that's the most important. That comes before food, housing, whatever, is her marijuana. I don't know if her therapist knows that or not. She is totally against any type of medication. I know she said she has had it before. She is totally against any type of medication that might help. That might help her. Now, we know with medications, sometimes doctors want to go overboard with medications. I am not one. Well, I have to say, I am the first one to say, is there anything that can be done, like when it comes to, like mental health or whatever? Is there anything that can be done before we try medications? Okay? I'm not against medications. Let me put that out there. But is there anything else that we can try first to see if it can help before we go that route? But sometimes medications are needed because, especially for chemical imbalances, especially for certain things, sometimes medications are needed. They are. And again, I'm going to put that out there. I do not have an issue with marijuana for many different reasons, for sometimes mental and a lot of times for physical. It has been proven. They have done studies. Not only that, there's testimonies out there for people that use it for physical issues and mental issues that it does help them. All right? That it absolutely does help them. A lot of people don't use it just to get that high. Not back like when we were teenagers, right? They use it to help them with their mental issues or physical issues, and it literally helps them, and they don't have to take other medication. But it's clear with Leticia that marijuana is not helping her. All right? In my opinion, she's using it for the high, to get high. That's just my opinion. Now, a lot of times with medication, especially for mental issues, they're not going to work. A certain medication might not work, and they got to tweak it, and they got to try something different. Because a lot of times medications give you side effects, and they might make you feel horrible, or a lot of them might make you feel suicidal. So you have to let your doctor know, this medication's not working for me, and you have to let it get in your system. Most medications, it will take 2 to 3 weeks, to get in your system to see if it's going to work for you. I'm not talking about Xanax or Klonopin. I'm not talking about your fast-acting medications. To see if it's going to do anything, if it's going to even you out. A lot of people don't give it that amount of time. They start having, um, they might have some side effects. Now, if they're bad side effects, no, you need to tell your doctor right away, right? But if they're just having a few side effects, or like, nope, I'm not doing that, like maybe headache or upset stomach or something like that, they're like, no, I'm not doing that. Or if you're having suicidal thoughts, you need to tell your doctor right away, I'm having these thoughts, because that's a number one thing with some of these medications. But they just stop it. They stop the medication. I'm not taking it. And I know a lot of the medications might make people feel like zombies. That's not good either. So they have to tweak the medication, and everybody's bodies are different. They have to find the right medication for you. And it might take a while. But medication alone is not a cure-all. It's not. It comes with therapy. It comes with, also finding out what might be the root of the problem. What might be causing the hurt and the pain? Or is it just a chemical imbalance in the brain? There's all sorts of different things with mental health issues. And a lot of people in the world suffer from this. I mean, I'm just amazed on how many people have mental health issues. There's a lot of us that suffer from one form or another. There's so many out there. And it's sad. It really is, because we are living in times now where, I think I've said this before, it's a fast-paced world out there. It's not like it used to be. Everything's fast-paced. And we need to slow down. Take time to smell the roses, okay? Take time for ourselves. And it's kind of hard to do, when you're working and you have kids and you're trying to get things done and you have activities you got to go to. And sometimes we just don't take the time for ourselves. And that is so important. It really is. Well, Leticia has all the time in the world. All the time in the world for herself, to do things for herself, to try to improve herself, and she chooses not to. She wants everybody, in my opinion, to do it for her, to fix her, to find her a house, to pay for it. That's my opinion. So back to the doctor. He talks about how she doesn't want to hurt this baby. According to her videos, that's not what she's saying. She'll hurt this baby before it's born, after it's born. Okay? She despises this baby, especially since it's a boy. She doesn't like men. They're good enough to pleasure her in the moment. But because they have a penis, in my opinion, they're not safe around her. But he does not talk to her about any self-improvement. That's what I find. We're only here in one session. But I don't hear anything on this therapy session about different things that she can do besides smoke pot, which, I didn't hear any of that from him, but anything that she can do to help herself. Like, maybe he already knows, that she's not one that's going to hear any positive things that she could do to help her, to help herself. She's not going to take any advice or anything, but he's not giving her any. I don't know if this is how he is with all of his clients, or if this is how he talks to all of his clients. I don't know. He sounds like an old timer. I have no clue. She likes him, so that's good. But if he's not giving her any advice on, okay, this is, this is how you need to get a little bit further in your life, so you're not living in your car, so you're not getting in trouble with the police, so you're not doing this and doing that. Now, he does say that he has heard this over and over. He listens to a lot of people that were sexually abused in their life, and I'm sure a lot of his clients were sexually abused, or they have been raped. And I'm not saying that at one point in time Leticia might not have been abused in her life when she was younger. I don't know. She could have been. But I don't believe for 1 minute she has been raped by all these people that she is claiming she's been raped by, especially Jason. I don't believe that for a minute. Nor these police officers, these doctors, these all these other people that she is stating. I don't believe it. Not saying something didn't happen to her when she was younger. It very well could have happened. And she's carrying over some stuff that she just has not, she has not dealt with. And maybe that's why she's having a lot of mental issues now. Or maybe nothing ever did happen to her and she has just always had mental issues. That could very well be too. We just don't know. But back to the physician, the doctor, he's just not giving her any tools to work with. Like, you've had all this time, you have to do your own homework to find housing. I know you've already done some homework, but most people, it's up to them, not other people, to do the legwork. And yes, it's hard. You have to fill out paperwork over and over and over and over again to get housing, especially low income. Other people aren't going to do it for you. And yes, it's frustrating. It absolutely will be frustrating for you. But you have to do it yourself. Because nobody else is responsible for you. And you know what? You might have to get a job. Because what you're making on disability is just not enough. And you are able to make money while you're on disability. You absolutely are. You're allowed to make a certain amount once you receive disability. They encourage that. They absolutely do. And she is, she's pregnant right now, heavily pregnant. But I'm talking before she got pregnant. And there's a lot of people that work while they're pregnant. I myself, I've already stated this before. All my children were C-section, but my last two were scheduled. I worked up until the day before I had them, and I went back to work 3 weeks after I had them. I had no choice because my ex-husband was lazy, okay? Deadbeat. So I had no choice. I had a mortgage to pay. I had no choice but to go back to work. Did I want to go back to work that early? Hell no, I didn't. But I had no choice. Did I want to work up until the day before I was going into surgery to have my children? No, I didn't. But I needed that paycheck because I had bills to pay. And with my daughter, She was an emergency C-section. I was only 18 when I had my daughter. I was married to, all my kids are by the same man. I was married. I was a very young mother. Didn't know what I was doing. I was working then too. And I was still working when I went into labor with my daughter. I had her emergency C-section. And I went back to work, I think it was maybe 4 weeks after I had her. Because yet again, he didn't want to work through, he worked some in our marriage, okay? Here and there, he jumped from job to job. When he did work, he made really good money. But he would quit his jobs, get another job, quit. That's how it was. It was nothing stable. I was mainly the breadwinner. I worked consistently. But when he did work, he made good money. But he blew his money. His money didn't go for the mortgage, for, the vehicles, for, the utilities and the necessities. He blew his money on toys, what he wanted. So I get it. It was hard to work while I was pregnant. Women do it every day. You see pregnant women working, waitresses, whatever. I was lucky enough when I was pregnant with my daughter. I'm not going to say what I did, but I was on my feet. With my 2 sons, I was in an office at that time. So I was lucky enough not to have to be on my feet. But still, it's hard. It is. But she could absolutely have got a job before she got pregnant, right? She could have got a job when she found out she was pregnant. Even with her mental illnesses. She's very intelligent, we know that, but she says, I'm not going to work another day in my life. So how do you expect to get, even if you got low income housing, how do you expect to sustain yourself, to live comfortably, to have a home? You wouldn't be able to afford your utilities, to afford those vegan meals. You wouldn't be able to afford it. Your car payment. You would still have to pay a little something with your housing. You would still be responsible probably for a portion of it. Maybe not much, but still a portion. You would still have utility bills that you would have to pay, right? She wants housing so bad. You can't expect everybody, the government, or, the viewers that are viewing her channel to pay for all that too. So, in my opinion, her therapist should have been telling her, you have to come off your high horse in a nice way. You are able to do, she says she's college educated, right? She's went to college. She's graduated high school. And she used to work. But she says the government owes her. Everybody owes her. She's stated many times that she's going to have a lawsuit against she said she could have one against the U.S. too. But that's delusional. And if he's talked to her in any, I don't know, maybe he's told her she could have one. Maybe that's where she's getting the idea. But that is just nuts, okay? And hopefully he's not putting those kind of ideas in her head that she has a lawsuit against the government or whatever. The government doesn't know her shit. All right? They don't. They're giving her disability. All right? They're giving her food stamps. They're giving her WIC. As for housing, she has to put in the homework. And this is what the therapist should be saying. The therapist should also be telling her what triggers might be, on how to avoid triggers. And maybe, this therapist might be totally against medications. There are therapists out there, doctors out there, whatever type of doctor she's seeked out, that are totally against pharmaceuticals. And it sounds like this might be one of those therapists. I don't know. And if that's the case, then um, I don't know. She said she was on pharmaceuticals before. She thinks it's poison. I get that because, a lot of times some doctors just want to throw you on medicine and say, there, you're fixed. That's not how it always works, okay? There's got to be other things that go along with that medication. Therapy, like I've already said it before, it, a drug is not a cure-all, okay? There's other things that you got to do with that medication as well. But he should be helping her with, like I said, you have to maybe try to get a job, even if it's, just part-time, a couple of days a week, to help try to get a little more income. Even if it's just enough to make your car payment a month. That would be a goal. Ease into it. Just there's plenty of jobs out there. All right, just ease into it. Just to be able to make your car payment. Make that a goal. Or, maybe to be able to buy some clothing items, or whatever. Or maybe to pay a utility bill. Make that a goal. And then keep filling out applications after applications. So, okay, low income. Let's think about this. Low income housing. I don't know about Arkansas. Maybe there's trailer parks. Okay, yes, trailer parks can't be out of the question. Maybe a rental of a mobile home. If nothing else, maybe buy a fixer-upper mobile home that needs work done on it. Maybe you could pick one up. I don't know what the cost of how it is in Arkansas, but I know in my area you can see them advertised for a couple of grand for some fixer-uppers. She might not have the help to, she's burnt quite a few bridges, so she might not have the help to do fixer-uppers, so I get that. But maybe if you can rent a mobile home, or here's another idea. I don't even know if it's feasible or not, if they have campgrounds around there, but maybe even buy a camper, right? It's in the summer. It's a long shot, but buy a camper. I don't know if they have year-round camping or not. Sometimes you could pick those up at a decent price, to where she's got a small place. These are just ideas. A lot of people are buying tiny homes. It's kind of like the same thing, right? You buy a tiny home, but they're paying a lot of money to buy a tiny home. Why not buy a small camper? And if there's camping areas around there that she can hook up or whatever, there you go. You actually own the place. You don't have to worry about traveling in your car. It's something to look at. It's like brainstorming. You have to sit down and brainstorm. I mean, all the money that she is spending in gas, traveling around all these different states, she could be saving that money. Sometimes you really got to think about, I need a safe place to stay. Or when she stays at a motel, I mean, staying in a motel, look at the campgrounds and then look and see if there's any campers for sale. Even a pop-up camper is cheaper. I mean, yeah, it doesn't have the bathroom and stuff, but, if you could find just a small one that maybe has not a pop-up, but a small camper that has the bathroom, the toilet, the stove, and everything, there you go. That's all she would need. Because there is no way they're going to allow her to keep this baby. There is no way. That's my opinion. There's no way she's going to be allowed to keep this baby. But these are things that you would think this therapist would be talking to her about. Different ways to find a home, at least temporary. And she's been homeless for 2 years. In 2 years' time, she could have, like I said, bought a camper. She could have bought a small camper or whatever and had a place to live until housing became available. Then she could have sold that camper, made a little bit of profit, I guess, or kept it, whatever. But she's not thinking logically. Or she might have been able to buy a mobile home. She could have worked part-time, saved up some money, right? She could have saved up some money, but she's been traveling around, wasting the gas. So it doesn't seem like, to me, in my opinion, this therapist is really helping her any, but to feed into her delusions. That's my opinion. He is telling her, basically the same beliefs that he has. The government is out to get everybody. And that's a fact, And, we can say everybody has their own theories on the government. I don't want to get into that, okay? I don't. But she thinks that the government is out to, to get her. Basically, they're giving her money. They're giving her food. I mean, does she want a car? Does she want clothing? I mean, what else does she want from the government? I mean, when is it time that she's young enough? She's only, 34 years old? I mean, come on now. So that's what I wanted to talk about on this video, and I know I am behind. I wanted to talk about the therapist. And I know that he did tell her, because she put it out there, that she had to remove the video. At first he was okay with it. I don't know if he got backlash, if people were harassing him, or whatever it may be. But he asked her to remove the video off her channel. I don't know of any therapists that would want their therapy session to be on social media, because that's supposed to be confidential anyways, right? That is supposed to be between their patient and themselves. And for him to say, oh yeah, it's okay to have it on social media, that just seems out there for me. I mean, I don't understand that. But in my opinion, he has not given her any sound advice on how to improve herself, and just feeding into her delusions. And I'm not sure if he has listened to any of her videos, but she is a totally different person when she's talking to him on the phone. When she gets off on her next video, she's unhinged again. So maybe he should listen to some of her videos, and maybe he will see the Jekyll and Hyde or whatever, and maybe he would think, now this person she needs to be on something. The pot's not doing her any good, or maybe she is a danger to her unborn child and maybe to others around her, because she says on many occasions that she wants to unlive a lot of people. And, one thing too, she's like, she made a comment about just drinking something under the sink, like, well, I'm not really gonna do it, and he gives her, oh, that would just, give you it's upset stomach or whatever, and he goes into something about that, and she's like, oh yeah, I know, I made it out as a joke. No, she was telling people that she is gonna unlive herself if the cops come at her. But she made it out as oh, it was just, a joke, and, this and that. I don't know if this therapist knows that on her videos, she talks about unliving herself all the time. I mean, maybe he really needs to sit down and listen to some of her videos. I mean, like I said, I don't watch all her videos, and I don't get through them all, all the way through, because she rants a lot. She really doesn't focus, and she does talk in circles a lot. She'll talk about one thing, she's on a roll, and then she changes it up and she starts talking about something else, and she's calling everybody delusional, and why are you doing this to me? Why are you hurting me? It's just me type of thing. But I think he really needs to catch a few of her videos and find out who the real Leticia is. But I'm gonna go ahead and go on that note, and we will come back, and on the next video we're going to talk about her going to the hospital, the fight with her brother, and then her going to the hospital. And I believe that she thought in her mind that they would keep her at the hospital to try to get away from going to her court date, because she doesn't want to be arrested. So we will talk about that on the next video.